everyone, how are we doing? This is week 4 of the program with the very long name. Uh, Back lifting heavy after, this is week 5. This is week 5. So I had my 3 weeks heavy, then I deload week 4, back lifting heavy now and feeling good for it. Deloads definitely do them. Normally, the rule of thumb with deloads is normally 4 weeks. After your 4th week, so your 5th week will be a deload. Mine done 3 weeks, so is a way I could do workout. When I started this program, I had 8 weeks to go before my competition. What I didn't really want to do was go 7 weeks, then deload, then thing, just in case, you know, I pushed it too far. Your CNS can only take so much. So I went, right, I'll do 3 weeks, then a deload, then another 3 weeks, and then I've got a deload before the competition. So that is the route I have taken. And yeah, feeling good, feeling good. Right, anyway, topic, online coaching, yay or nay? Now, obviously, I don't have a building to coach people in. I'm not a member of any gym. You've got to be members. I think you've got to be members of gyms if you want to do some coaching from their gym. It's a weird one. This is how it works. Personal trainer. That's like the main one that covers you for gyms. My qualifications. I'm a qualified gym instructor. That qualifies me to teach people or coach people in a gym-based environment. A personal trainer thing, that qualifies you to coach people essentially anywhere. You see someone like, spotting someone in a field or something, they're probably their personal trainer. But you need your level 1, you need your level 2 before you get to your level 3. I haven't got a level 3 yet for the simple reason they are very expensive. And I wasn't entirely sure how much I'd need it. Unless I really need it, then I figured, oh, hang on. Will I get one in the future? Maybe, quite possibly, just so it covers more angles. But anyway, the main one I wanted to get was the gym instructor, because that's all I would need. If I wanted to open a gym, I do want to open a gym. If I had the money to open said gym, all I would need is my gym instructor license, or whatever you call it, because it would cover me coaching people in a gym-based environment. Right. The other thing I've got is I have got strength coach qualification as well, because strength is my main focus. When I was younger, yes, it was more bodybuilding stuff, more about looking pretty, basically. However, as I've got older, I have definitely got a more interest in strength. Strength's always been slightly more important. Obviously, I've got strongman competition coming up. So, yeah, stronger is better. But as well as being strong, I also don't want to get overweight. I probably am overweight. If you look at your BMI, I probably am a touch overweight. But what I'm not is unhealthy, which is what I don't want to say. I've touched on this before. I have got 4 children, and I want to be able to run around with my children for as long as I can and remain relatively relatively strong. So I can only do my coaching abilities are only online at the moment, because I don't have a gym to train people from, and I don't have that level 3 personal trainer thing where I could coach someone anywhere, essentially. So yeah, so obviously I'm going to sing the praises of online coaching till I'm blue in the face, but I figured what I'll do, to begin with, we'll look at the negative sides of online coaching, because once I start talking about the positive, I'll be like, away we go. So Negatives of online coaching: you're not physically in the room with anyone. Now you can get to meet people online. You can get to meet people through like the sort of thing I would do is I have like say a Zoom meeting. So it's not just a voice over the phone or email. Someone actually knows who someone looks like. They've had a face to face. You know, even if it is through a camera. But you know they've gotten to know you. But I'm talking too much about the pros. The idea was the cons. Now, if you are a bit, I wouldn't say nervous. Yeah, why nervous? If you are a bit nervous about getting to know people through computers and you want to actually be in the same room as the person, you can shake their hand. You can actually physically know them by actually physically being in the same room as them. Obviously, if that is what you want, if that is the sort of thing you like, online coaching is not going to appeal to you very much. So that would be, a negative. If you wanted your coach or personal trainer to also be like there to spot you for XYZ exercises, which could require a spotter, again, online, not as good, not so much for you. And definitely if you're a beginner and you don't know anything really about training for strength or training for weight loss or, you know, improvements in your shape and whatnot, improving your endurance, all of that. If you're an absolute beginner to it, it can be a bit easier if you actually are face to face with someone. And of course, a lot of people will say there's nothing can counteract the one-to-one interaction, which for a lot of people is true. I will be honest, if there's more things against online coaching other than what I've just said, personally, I don't see it. But then again, I will be honest as well, I never had coaching. When I bought my first weight set, there was a sheet of paper with a load of diagrams of different exercises. That was it. Without showing my age too much, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have YouTube. I couldn't just go on there and, I don't think we had Google. I don't know what we had. But you couldn't just type in. You couldn't just go to YouTube, deadlift tutorial, and see different things. It wasn't there. It was in books. You probably could get videos, but I never got any training videos or anything like that. Videos. That's VCR, by the way. Video cassette recorders. For anyone maybe under the age of 40. But anyway, see, that's what we had. If you wanted, you could get footage, but yeah, you got. And again, it wasn't easy to get at footage because it wasn't a big popular thing. Definitely not. God, when I was 13, what were we at? Where are we at? 96? 96. Yeah, let's say 96. You didn't have, or if you did have, it wasn't common. It definitely wasn't common in the UK. It definitely wasn't common in the UK. So there wasn't really. I mean, but basically what you could do, you could buy books. You could buy books about training. I never bought any, but you could. I followed the little sheet thing that I had with my list of diagrams, and that was pretty much what I followed. As time has gone on, and more information has become available, yes, I've watched several different videos on several different exercises, trying to get all the information I can out of them. Obviously, with the courses I went on, I got information on how to successfully perform each exercise. I got a little bit more information on the strength coach course than I did on the gym instructor course. The gym instructor course covers basics. Basics of how, like, health and safety, basics of nutrition, the basics of exercises, cardiovascular exercises, weight training exercises, and the like. The strength course focuses on the strength. Exercises, rest, recovery, basics, basics nutrition, but obviously more focused than the gym instructor, because the strength coach is more focused on the coaching and the strength side of it, whereas a gym instructor, that's like a more broad thing. That can include strength training. It can also include more hypertrophy type training. Hypertrophy, the fancy word for bodybuilding, and it can cover like more endurance style training. So that's that. Right. So there we go. So for me, the negatives of online coaching would be, you're not face to face with someone. You're not face to face. You're not in the same room. If you feel more comfortable with a training partner and you'd want, there's nothing wrong. I mean, if you were going to have a training partner, it may as well be your coach. Makes sense. So that, for me, those would be the most negative sides to it. And with money, with costs, well, obviously it depends on the coach. Different coaches are going to charge different prices. I would just think it's also worth bearing in mind that even you're not going online coaching, going face-to-face coaching, they are going to charge money as well. All coaches are going to charge money because, you want to make a living out of it. So yeah, so with the money, I wouldn't say that's a pro or a con. I would say if you can afford it and you really want one, and yeah, you could consider getting yourself a coach. Right. So now I'm going to move on to the pro sides of getting an online coach. You can contact them any time, absolutely any time. You can email your online coach in the middle of the night. You can email them in the middle of the day. It doesn't matter. You can contact them. Now, they may not get back to you right straight away, but if they're a half decent coach, they'll get back to you within at least, let's say, 24 hours. And I know that sounds like a long stretch of time, and I suppose it is, but say, so I'm based in the UK. Say I've got a client in Australia, and we're like 12, 15, God knows how many hours out, and they could send me a message at like, I don't know, 11 o'clock in the 11 in the afternoon? Is there 11 in the afternoon? That's 11 in the evening. 11 o'clock in the morning. But I might have just gone to sleep. So I would say 24 hours would be like at least sort of like the bare minimum you should expect. That is the longest stretch of time you should expect a response from your coach. And without getting shirty against any other coaches out there, if it takes someone more than 24 hours to get back to you through email or whatever else, I would want a good reason as to why it took that long when they do get back to you. That's just me, though. That is just me. I know, relying on technology, your Wi-Fi down, you could not well have got their email till like 2-3 days after they sent it. Things do happen. Things do happen. But yeah, you should, I think any half-decent online coach would respond to their clients as soon as possible. As soon as they can from when they get the email. That is how I would work it anyway. So if I get an email, I tend to sleep. I tend to get about 6 hours. Obviously 7 or 8 would be nicer, but I've got a day job as well, so that's not always going to work. Especially if I've got a 6:30 start in the morning, but it's a training day, so I'm going to have to be up at least around about 20 to 5. so I can have all my breakfast in for me by 5 o'clock. Gives me an hour. Normally an hour is the most I need for my sessions at the moment, normally. So I've got between 5 to 6 to get done. Then I leave the house at 6. If I'm cycling to work, I could probably mug it out till about 6:15. But you get the idea. You get the idea. Right. Having the other possible side, yeah. The other good bit about having an online coach, I would say, this is definitely more if you are slightly more advanced lifter. You won't have them stood over your shoulder all the time, watching everything you do. Now, for some people, that can be a bit uncomfortable, slightly off-putting, and it's sort of like any minute now, she is going to say, straighten up, or something. They're going to say something, and it's going to throw you off. Maybe you're going to be mid-conversation in between sets, and then your focus is going off slightly because you're thinking, well, they're just going to, what they said just there about foot positioning on the deadlift. Think about the foot positioning, and it just depends. Obviously, if you're slightly more if you're a bit more of a nervy person, then it can be a little bit more intimidating. I mean, going into a gym as it is can be a bit intimidating, especially if you go in there in a busier time when the gym's full, for example, and it's a case of, well, can I get hold of a barbell at this point? But you understand what I mean. Anyone watching this, I'm assuming you've got a vague interest or a vague understanding of gyms, or if it's just training at home, or if you've trained with someone else before and each time you've done it, that back of your mind has been, they are looking at me. So that is the advantage of an online coach. Now, obviously, again, a lot of online coaches are going to be wanting you to record some of what you're doing. So, again, you can, in the back of your mind, maybe you're thinking, what's the camera going to say? But, come on, it's a camera. It's not going to say anything, is it? If you send your videos to your coach, and they see anything that's slightly off, again, if they're a good coach, they're obviously going to point it out. Because, there's no point in, if you're a coach and you've got a client and their deadlift setup, I know I use the term deadlift a lot, but it's probably because it's one of my favourite exercises, and it's an easy one to screw up. So let's say someone sent you a video of their deadlift and they are stood just too close to the bar when they pull, or they're stood too far away from the bar when they pull. When they go for the lift, or they're not taking the slack out of the bar, or anything. You're not gonna do them any favours by replying to it, going with a bit of a thumb up emoji. All good. You're gonna have to sort of like bite the bullet a bit and say, okay, this was off. Explain why it was off, and explain how it's going to make their deadlift better, and explain how if it continues that way, it can increase the risk of injury. Now, reading all that in an email or a text or whatever, okay. Initially, they might be a bit like. But if someone's in the room actually saying it to you as well, you're going to feel the same. You might even feel a little bit worse because it might take you off, because you're going to think, right, what are they going to say after the next set? However, if you're going to have a coach, your coach feels the need to critique you, then you really should let them critique you, and you should listen to them critique you. So sometimes I think, if you think you've gotten as far as you can get, it can be worth going with a coach. So anything that you haven't thought of will help progress in your journey. Obviously, a lot of information can be found out, especially on the internet now. But you will have obviously more of a personal touch, personal service connection if you've got a coach who is giving you all their advice. So there we go. I would say, yeah, the positives of an online coach is essentially they're always there, and at the worst case scenario, they're a 24-hour email away, and that is a worst case scenario. And like I say, that's on a guesstimate that they've caught you asleep. And I say, I mean, if you're a client of mine and you catch me asleep, then you might hear back in about 6-7 hours. But that would be the longest shot. I mean, even if I got the kids kicking off, maybe if I got the kids kicking off here, the response might take an hour or two. If I'm at work in the day job, it might take a little bit more there. Obviously, the plan, the dream goal plan would be get enough clients and I can tell the day job to go jump. But again, that's at the moment that's not a possibility. So I have to grin and bear it. So there we go. So I would say those are the pros and the cons of online coaching. If you've got any comments yourself, any questions, do drop a question or whatever in the comments. Keep it nice, keep it friendly. There's no point in putting up stuff nasty, is there? Really, you know. If you are intrigued by the beard and you fancy the idea of possibly walking down an online coach route, do hop over to the website www.paulharleylifts.co.uk. If you just want to send me an email with some questions rather than doing like a paragraph from Lord of the Rings comment, feel free to. I will answer any questions, unless it's related to how can I improve my fitness and stuff like that. Because once you start asking those sort of questions, I might be like, well, I've got some I've got some cheaper cookie cutter programs, which you are welcome to purchase. Or if you already know what you're about and you don't want to feel like by doing that you'll just be going over dead ground, and you can afford to take a chance for 12 weeks, there is the personalised coaching, which is available as well. Right, so if you haven't already, I say like and subscribe. You've got to like the video first. If you like what you've seen, like. If you haven't already, but you watch my videos anyway, do subscribe. Click your bell notification and that'll update you when there is stuff to update. And in the meantime, that is just about it, I think. So keep strong, keep happy, keep healthy, and I'll speak to you all later. Ta-da.